professional community. You can continue. And today I'd like to present my short research on the topic AI filmmaking and can machines be filmmakers? And I'd like to start by claiming that we as humanity need art to survive. And the movie industry has become one of the most popular representations of art, and it has a big impact on our society. Throughout history, cinema has evolved hand in hand with technology. Every major innovation transformed the way we tell stories. We went from color to CGI. How do I change this? Okay. We went from sound to color, from CGI to streaming, and now it's not the end. Today we're standing at the edge of another transformation, artificial intelligence. AI should not be considered our enemy, but neither it's our equal. It develops as everything else does because it is part of the human progress. We must evolve alongside it, step by step, but we must also remember that AI cannot replace human emotion, experience, or wisdom. Instead, AI should be seen as a tool, a powerful one, that can extend our creativity and not substitute it. Many people fear that technology will take away their uniqueness, but history shows that true creativity never disappears. It transforms into something modern. The same happened when photography challenged painting or when streaming platforms replaced movie theaters. Artists always find a way to use technology to their advantage. Instead of fighting innovation, we should learn how to collaborate with it. And after all, every great filmmaker used the newest tools of their time to expand what cinema could be. And firstly, I think it is necessary to look at the past to understand better what is happening nowadays. Cinema has always reflected social and technological change. When early filmmakers were working in silence, sound was already transforming everyday life. Homes were getting electricity, people started using radios, and soon film just needed to be shot. Synchronized sound began to develop in late 1920s, making movies feel more real. Many critics feared that it would destroy the visual artistry and the whole point of silent film. Even famous Charlie Chaplin said that sound was the death of pantomime, the purest form of visual storytelling. But as time shows, it did not destroy the cinema, it just evolved it. Filmmakers adapted new changes, and cinema became more modern and expressive art form. In the 1930s and 40s, the color was introduced. By the 80s and 90s, the digital age has arrived, and computers with CGI, computer-generated imagery, started transforming the way films were made. New films like the Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, and The Matrix changed the limits of cinematic imagination, and audience was so impressed. However, some critics again accused of this new technology being artificial, even though it opened doors to worlds that could never exist otherwise. And this pattern shows us that each technological evolution forced filmmakers to rethink creatively, which meant not to fear change, but to shape it and make it adaptable. Today, the same thing is happening with artificial intelligence.
No, not there, just click.
What makes AI different from previous inventions is that it already has become part of everyday life of the most generation. According to Bernard Marr, 66% of people use AI regularly on everyday basis without even realizing it, from social media algorithms to navigation systems. And the number of AI tools is expected to reach 378 million in 2025, up from only 116 million 5 years ago. Also, 78% of organizations now implement AI technologies compared to 55% the previous year, which demonstrates us the fastest adoption rate in recent history. These statistics illustrate how deeply AI has already integrated into global culture and economy. And it's not only a tool for artists, but it's how society communicates, works, and thinks. Movies have always been a mirror of human communication and consciousness, and now this mirror is digital. Filmmaking becomes not only about storytelling, but also about exploring our relationship with machines we create. However, artificial intelligence now challenges the very definition of filmmaking. Tasks that once required a large team and several months of production now can be made in just one day. Is it beneficial or vice versa? AI tools can generate scripts, design sets, and even produce realistic human faces. It can make anything you could think of. But the question remains, if a machine creates art, then who is the author? This brings us to one of the earliest and most significant examples of AI filmmaking, The Frost, directed in 2024 by Josh Rubin and Weimar Creative Labs. This is the short film that was one of the first to be almost entirely generated by AI tools such as DALL-E 2, Leonardo AI, and Runway ML. At first glance, The Frost is visually striking, but also unsettling. It feels so inhuman and imperfect. The characters appear emotionless, their movements are unnatural, and the film lacks the soul and the subtle imperfections that make a story real. The film's visuals are aesthetically compelling. However, the absence of emotional resonance results in diminished sense of viewer engagement. Still, The Frost is a very important experiment. It demonstrates both possibilities and limitations of AI in cinema. While it can create imaginative visuals and complex landscapes, it struggles to capture genuine emotion, which is the core of good piece of art. As I observed, the human characters seem less convincing than the surroundings, suggesting that AI might be more useful in post-production than in replacing human actors or writers. It would be perfect to enhance visuals, sound, or effects. And viewers are emotional beings because we connect with stories because they reflect our fears, hopes, and experiences. This is why even the most technically perfect AI film can feel empty because it simply lacks a human heartbeat. Audiences want to feel something real. This emotional connection is what keeps cinema alive, and it is the thing that machines still cannot replicate. So is AI a tool or co-creator? The question of who truly creates in AI cinema has been explored by Taras Lavenberg in his study Authorship in AI Cinema, The Frost Through the Lens of Walter Benjamin. Lavenberg argues that AI can be seen not only as a tool, but also as a co-author when collaborating with humans. By referring to Walter Benjamin's ideas about technological reproducibility, he re-examines the concept of aura, which refers to the authenticity and distinctiveness found in traditional art, but is reduced in works made mechanically. In movies created by AI, this aura seems to fade away even more because there is no direct touch from the artist. To address this, Lavenberg introduced the concept of the orderer, a person who directs AI by giving it prompts, just like a film director leads actors. This orderer does not create the images themselves, but orchestrates the whole process. According to Lavenberg, the orderer's role made a new form of authorship, which human creativity coexists with machine production. However, Lavenberg also notes that this process raises ethical and economical questions. While AI democratizes filmmaking by lowering costs and allowing more people to create films, it also threatens traditional creative jobs and complicates copyright and ownership. Recent events in Hollywood shows how quickly AI entered mainstream cinema. Regan Morris reported on BBC News that during 2023 Hollywood strikes, writers and actors protested against studios using AI without getting their approval. Back then, they saw it as an enemy number one. And yet, just 2 years later, Oscar-winning films are now making use of AI technology. For instance, The Brutalist, that came out in 2024, used AI to fine-tune Adrian Brody's Hungarian accent, while Emilia Perez, that was also came out in 2024, did the same to modify voices. AI tools have also been used in de-aging actors such as Tom Hanks and Harrison Ford. Brian Mooser, co-founder of the AI film company Moonwally, emphasizes that filmmakers must actively shape how AI develops, insisting that artists should be at the table and that technology must remain subservient to artists. However, many in Hollywood still remain concerned about ethical and economic implications, especially as tech companies are now sued for using copyrighted materials to train AI models without permissions. And this ongoing debate demonstrates the double-edged nature of AI in film industry. It expands creative possibilities and yet simultaneously challenges the value of human authorship and work. Early Apple employee Daniel Koffke once said that data becomes information, information becomes knowledge, and only through human experience does knowledge turn into wisdom. This statement captures the heart of what separates humans from machines. AI can process data, can create information, and even simulate creativity, but it cannot create wisdom because it lacks experience, empathy, and moral understanding. Similarly, many scholars and artists have spoken out that the real danger of AI is not that it becomes more human, but that humans might become more like AI, less spontaneous, less emotional, and less human overall. As filmmakers and artists and consumers, we must ensure that technology remains our instrument, our tool, and not our replacement. AI should support the creative process and not define it. Art without emotion and a human soul becomes meaningless. Artificial intelligence is undoubtedly reshaping cinema, just as sound, color, or CGI once did. It offers a powerful tools that can make filmmaking more accessible and innovative. And another aspect is equality. For decades, the film industry has been controlled by few major studios, and now AI tools make it possible for independent filmmakers, especially young people or those who are from underrepresented regions, to share their visions. They could lead to a more diverse and inclusive global cinema. And yet, as the movie Frost demonstrates, AI still lacks the emotional depth and features that defines human storytelling. The concept of the orderer reminds us how humans remain the center of creation by guiding, shaping, and interpreting the possibilities of technology. And as the BBC article stated, even in Hollywood and their grand experiments with AI, there is a growing awareness of art and that it must stay within the realm of humanity. The future of cinema is not written yet. Every generation faces its own creative revolutions, and this is ours. Artificial intelligence is not the end of imagination, it's a new beginning. It depends on how we use it, to replace emotion or to amplify it. The decision belongs to the artists, the dreamers, and the storytellers who refuse to let machines define what it means to be human. We can and we should evolve alongside it, but wisdom, empathy, and human spirit cannot be replaced by algorithms and code. Heart and soul are and always will be the lifeblood of cinema. That's all, and thank you for attention.
Okay, so now there's space for questions. If you have any questions for her, for your classmate regarding. It's a very nice topic, and it fits nicely within the subject we are doing this semester. You are participating in this semester. I have a question. If nobody else, like, what was your inspiration to pick such a topic? Is it part of your research that you're working on as a diploma thesis, or?
Well, my diploma thesis is also related to cinema, and my bachelor thesis also was related to cinema. So it's something that I'm passionate about, and I would like to explore more. And as AI is nowadays really like often spoken of topic, I thought it would be useful for me to research it and for the audience to hear about it.
And where did you come across this film? Did you specifically search for something that uses AI?
Yes, and I watched this film, The Frost. So yeah, I'm prepared for this research.
And what is it about? Should we watch it? Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it to watch just to understand what it is like to watch something that is totally created by AI. And it's about an expedition, whereas I think it's in Antarctic islands or something like that, and about some virus that spreads across the the population and how it affects the life, the whole humanity. Yeah, but I don't know. It felt so surreal to watch it because there is no human touch. I don't know. The faces were scary. Yeah, it was really scary at the times. But yeah, I would advise to watch it.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, and we are continuing with the presentation by Pratiksha Chavada. She is already online, so can you hear us?
Am I audible and visible to you?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Let me introduce you. Pratiksha is from Sri Venkateswara Arts and Science College from India, and her presentation is titled Na Iti, Critiquing the First Gujarati Science Fiction.
Okay, thank you. First, let me share the screen.
Yes, you can.
Give me a minute. I'm able to see. I'm unable to share here. Hello?
There's a big green button which you should be on.
Yes. I'm trying with that, but I'm not able to click the share button.
I don't know what can be the problem because the settings should allow you to do so.
Oh my God. Okay, do I have a permission to share? Because this might be happening because I might not have a permission.
Yes, you have the permissions. Every participant can share.
Perhaps you have to add Pratiksha as a co-host of the event. Then she will be able to share the screen.
Okay.
Alternatively, Pratiksha, if you send the file to them, they can share it from their end because they are hosting the meeting.
Yes. Is it okay if I do that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I'm sending you a file.
Okay. So let's wait for that to work.
Yeah, sharing a file with you. The mail has been sent.
It might take a couple minutes to appear.
I have sent you the mail.
Yes, I've just received it, so let's open it up.
Okay, not an issue. Hello, Bini ma'am.
Hello.
How are you?
All good, all good.
After a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so just tell me when you need to move the slides.
Yes, yeah. So, good afternoon here, good evening here, and good afternoon there. Respected Bini ma'am, respected organizers, and all the scholars who are listening me online and offline there. The topic of my presentation is No E.T. It's a Gujarati novel and the critiquing of the first Gujarati science fiction. Please change the slide.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, in India, uh, officially 22 languages are recognized by the 8th schedule of the Constitution, and around 121 languages are spoken by 10,000 and more people. Although there is no count of the people who are using their mother tongue, there is perhaps there are more than 30,000 plus people who are still using their mother tongues, and Gujarati is one of the regional language which is spoken in the region of the Gujarat. Although there are various dialects are using within the language, but I'm not going particularly for that. Gujarat, the state established in 1960s, but before that also the language was existed. And before the foundation of the state, Gujarati as a language and literature was flourished by many writers and the speakers of the state. So, since many ages, the creative journey of the literature of Gujarati has been flourished, and there were many major themes which were overtaken and that were used by the various writers of Gujarati. That were traditional and Gandhian era so-called themes were also used for the reformation, social reformation of the society. They were using it for the presentation of the rural and the village life, as one of the motto of Gandhi was to go back to the village and the reformation of the village and the cleanliness drive through the going back to the roots as the village people. And there is one of the major theme before the independence was the aspect of nationalism. There were many writers who were talking about the patriotism, nationalism, and they were also in support of the cultural preservation, because they have seen that the Western culture has affected in one or the other way. So there were many writers who were talking about such preservations into the literature. They were also the kind of a critique of the industrialization, and they do talk about the spirituality and self-assertion, and showing the aspects of simple living, making Gandhi as one of the idol for that thing. Secondly, the writers who have used the aspects of society or the themes from the Gujarati region, there were many writers who were traveled to different places, and there was the group of diaspora has been flourished. So there were many writers who do talked about the identity, migration, and the sense of or the love for the motherland, that is the land of Gujarat. There were writers who do talk about the aspect of feminism. Even female writers are also there who talked about the female questions, the female problems, their inner issues, their outer issues, and gender issues. There were aspects on urbanization, social political issues. They do talk about the personal and collective experiences. In one of them, we see that Rupert is taking the personal experiences as the creative base, and then he go on talk about the environmental crisis, and also gives also gives the solutions within those aspects. Even there are writers who are talking about the globalization in contemporary era. They are talking about the contesting narratives and others. Uh, we see that Dhruv Bhatt, who is one of the renowned writer, a contemporary writer of the Gujarati fiction, is a pragmatic writer, because we see that he has created literature not only with the help of imagination, but he has taken out his own experiences through literary arena. For example, there are many novels of him which are the real life experiences. He go to the different places, take the he do go to the different places, take the views of the people. He also lives the life of those people. He experienced the culture of those peoples, and then he exhibits all such aspects into his creation. So he is a kind of experimental writer who is using his own experiences. He concerns his major concerns we can found in his novel, that is environment. He do talk about how the environment is being disturbed by the human being, and he also sees a kind of a relationship between human and nature. He says that we cannot cut out this relationship. We need to understand this relationship. That is the major aspect of his novels. No issue, which I have taken for the present paper, is a kind of a speculative fiction within which he has viewed environmental concerns. I have put a picture over here. If you look at to the picture, in his novel, he says that this picture he has taken out from from the Indonesian a mythology, or we can say kind of a folk literary tradition of Indonesia. In the poems or in the songs of Indonesia, they are having the kind of that there is a picture of a ibu, a statue, and that is in the Indonesian National Museum. The statue is within that, and those people are worshipping this statue. Yeah, these people are worshipping this statue, and they're considering them that statue as a mother, as a mother earth. So likewise, the every aspect whichever Drupad is taking for his novels is not the aspect which is only the imagination, but it is a kind of a lived reality. He himself has seen lots of aspects with surrounded by him, and then he is using those things. Now, moving ahead with my presentation, I try to look at this particular novel as a science fiction novel. We all know that there are few characteristics which are considering a fiction as a science fiction. So the first aspect which science fiction includes, that is speculative science. So within this novel, we see that there is a usage of potential future discoveries, and that is the base. They are using those discoveries as the basis of its settings. For example, when the novel opens, it opens with the chapter 0, and within that chapter 0, as a reader, we comes to know that there are people who are living. There are people who are living within the within the planet called Iha, and the Iha, this planet is about to ruin. There is no possibility of life on Iha, and there is a group of scientists who are trying to discover the another planet where they can see the life. So, and finally, they have find out a planet called Prithvi, which Yunjan gives a name, Prithvi. So they are planning to go there, but there are characters who are feeling that when we are going, abandoning this land Iha, and that is also to die it out. It is not a sense, or it is not the emotion we are attaching with it. So now we should not have any right to go to the another planet again to destroy it. So there is a kind of a conversation is happening within which there are two groups. One group is saying that we should save our life and we should go to another planet for the betterment of the life. Whereas there are two people who are considering that we should not go, and they are using the third thing, that is Bui. Bui is also a name used for earth. Iha is also the meaning earth, and Prithvi is also mean earth. So Bui, which already destroyed earlier, matlab 1,000 years or number don't know how many number of years before, it was destroyed by their ancestors. So they have abandoned Bui earlier, and now again they have destroyed Iha and planning to go to the another land. So there are one group who wants to go to Iha, and there is another group who wants to go back to Bui, because they see a kind of rejuvenation in on that land. There is a conversation in which there is one character Yunjan and another Nemi, who are discussing that there is earlier this buoy was not seen uh, by the satellites. Matlab, whatever picture the satellite was taking, there those were not buoy was not seen on those. But now this Nemi says that look into this picture. Now that there is a color of buoy has been changed, so it means that buoy is rejuvenating, and we have to help. We should be we should go there and participate in that rejuvenation. So the chapter 00 ends with two things. One group goes to Prithvi and another goes to Pui. And secondly, why we can consider this as a speculative science, because the whole plot is surrounded discoveries of human being for the sustaining life. The first chapter, when it opens, we see that there were many years has been passed. The Prithvi, which was discovered in the chapter number 00, has been again destroyed, destructed by the human beings. There is again not the possibility of living life on Prithvi, and that's why there was a dome culture has been uh, pertained there. Human beings are there, but those human beings are handled by the computers, the AIs, the chips. The chip gives a command to the human being what the person has to do and not to do. Even within this novel, we see that there are names of the characters which are made up using different languages such as Sanskrit, Gujarati, Swedish, Spanish, Malayalam, Tamil, etc. And they are having different meanings of it. For example, Yunjan, the character named Yunjan means Siddh or perfect. There is another character whose name is Nu. Nu means prophet, Paigambar. Another character is Vamnu. Vamnu means a dwarf, a person who is having a short height. Kulik. Kulik means a Kulpati or chancellor. Nemi. Nemi means dhari or axis. Sasta. Sasta means shashak, ruler. And Prithvi means the earth. So there are the symbolic names also Drupad has taken here. The second characteristics we could see here is the futuristic or alternate settings. Even um, there is a kind of futuristic aspect has been seen in terms of Prithvi, which was very recently found and then very recently destroyed by those human beings. Here we see throughout the novel there are three planets has been discussed or conversed within the characters, that is Iha, Bhui and Prithvi. These people, the human beings, they are continuously in search for the possibility of life on each location. Like if earlier they were living in Bhui, then they transformed or migrated to Iha, and from Iha now they migrated to Prithvi, and even Prithvi is now not a kind of a place where they can live or they can feel of sustaining of the life. We could see that there is a constant destruction of these planets, and human beings are abandoning it if they find that there is no way of living out here, or rather they are changing the place into another kind of location. The At the same time, where there is a destruction is presented, there is a rejuvenation of nature is also discussed in terms of the rejuvenation of Bhui, where Yunjan and Nemi are discussing. Within this aspect, there is one quotation I would like to quote from the text itself. There is a narration where it is said that how it was difficult, and it is futuristic in terms of our present life also. Um, the description goes, I quote, "It was not so easy for humans to wear masks and chemical shoes while walking on a serene seashore with their loved ones. It was also difficult to continuously maintain the flow of oxygen in the closed quarters of the houses. The humans took years to be habituated with such a system." I unquote. So earlier when Prithvi has started destructing itself, the way today we are seeing that there is a change in a climate, there is a constant flood. Sometimes without the season we are having rain, and even at one place there is a flood and at another place there is a drought. So these are the climate change issues we are even facing in today's world. So look into the future, like if we see that if oxygen gets over on the earth, what will happen? So Drupad has presented through this conversation or through this narration, he has presented the future, that if the oxygen gets over, how difficult it is for the human being to sustain the life. There are another characteristics of science fiction is the advanced technology. We see that the novel used the dome culture. Dome culture in the sense that the earth is almost gone. There is no possibility of living on earth, and that's why the different organizations or authorities or a so-called government has decided to create a dome. So there are different domes, and the domes are above the land, above the earth, or 2 feet above the earth or something like that. So within the dome, people are living. People are living in the sense that these people are monitored by the supercomputers. These human activities are not run through the brain of the human, but they are run through the supercomputers. The chip has been installed immediately after the child born, and then the child gets all the commands. So there is no natural growth. There is a growth through the chip. Even when the child born and when the chip is inserted immediately after that, the life and death is decided by the technology, not by the human being. The technology decide that we require 30 people, so they plan to give birth to 30 people. They feel that we don't require these 50 people. Then they have already given the task that after 30 years this person will die, and the chip will indicate the person. So the kind of yellow light is an indication that now it is uh, the time period of your death, and the person, without giving any um, rebel or any thinking, the person goes to the bus, and that is called the zero number bus, in which the person has to go got up, and then the whole bus reaches to the one open arena where those people are lying on the papers given to them, and immediately after that there is a blowdown of the person, and then those bodies are wrapped into the paper and then thrown out from the door. So everything is pre-decided. The birth is pre-decided, the death is pre-decided. There is no repercussion, there is no emotions, there is no suffering, there is no pain. There is again an aspect of extraterrestrial life is also presented through the aspect of the chip. Although there is a constant presence of human we could see within the novel, but these people are controlled by chip. For example, those people who are living in a dome, they are living a robotic life, not a normal human life. Even there are mechanical way of living, mechanical way of life. For example, they don't understand anything, they don't have any emotions. If they are asked for something else which is not restored in their chip, they said that there is nothing in the dictionary. So they don't reply, or they don't give any kind of reply which is not there in their uh, database. They only work on the basis of login and log out. Login matlab they have to work, log out matlab they have to take rest. Only this thing is there, and they know only this much. Even they are not growing the food, and they are not spending the time for preparing the food, anything. They just use one tablet, they chew the tablet, and then they are ready for the work. So all such things were presented in the novel. Uh, as there is one characteristics we could also find in the science fiction, that it is a social commentary. So uh, through the speculative aspect, one of the aim of science fiction is to show the how the society is ruining and what one has to do. So here Drupad is also presenting this constant ruination, and through that ruination he shows us that how human nature is. The human nature is destructive. They are not learning from their own experiences. They have, firstly they have destroyed Pui. After that they reached Iha, but they have never learned that we should not misuse the resources of the nature. They have done with the Iha also, and from Iha when they migrated, they were gone to the another planet called Prithvi. They have done the similar thing with the another planet. So there is a basic nature of human being that is destructive in manner. Even there is a comment by one of the character here, that is called the character called Prithvi, who talked about that why we are destructive in nature. she mentioned that I would like to quote I quote, the day when we will settle ourselves at one place, make houses for us by digging the land and grains, cultivate grains, we will create a feeling of mine and mine in our minds. We will understand what is mine or ours. We will also go the way the inhabitants of Prithvi had gone. The first and only mistake of the inhabitants of the Prithvi was their settlement at one place. I unquote. So she feels that why we are destructive because we are settling at one place, and then there is a emotion, there is a feeling of my and mine would arise, which we cannot go away from. Uh, uh, we could also see that there is throughout the novel, Drupad, as he is many a time using the philosophical aspects, he used Upanishads, Purans, mythologies, and taking note of that, he is looking into the life. He gives a kind of an understanding of life through at the way at the end of the novel, this character, and that is the protagonist of this novel, Keaton. The name is also like a kind of we could say a robotic name. This Keaton realized that we only understand the things in a kind of a negation, neti. So no eti, and that is the title of the novel itself. Uh, Another thing which we would see, that is few common elements we could see within the novel, that is a time travel. So at a time we are traveling from ages. Chapter number 00 opens at a one time where Iha was destroyed, and when chapter 1 opens, another planet, Prithvi, has also been destroyed and taken out by the human interactions. So there is a lot of gap. There is a lot of leap of time within the narration and the speculation also. Even through the Dom culture, we could see that there is a mind control and biological manipulation of these human beings, these people. When these people are putting the chip behind the ear, it means that they are controlling the mind. The human mind is not working now. The only work uh, the only work the body do based on the chip. So there is a biological manipulation also. The young person who is not able to do the hard work, that person is doing the hard work just because of the command that you have to do this thing. So these many things are presented. One last note I would like to mention here, that in many a time we see that generally science fictions are talking about the apocalypse and the end of the earth and all such things. Drupad here not only talks about the apocalypse, but at the same time he talks about the rejuvenation. And in the third part of the novel, he talks about this rejuvenation of Dui, where there are few people are living without having any authority on the land. Rather, they are asking permission of the earth to live on. So there is throughout the novel there is a constant dawn or a hope for the restoration of the nature. There is a sense of devotees for the mother earth, as Prithvi says that they are living on Bhui with the permission of Bhui, and that's why they are not cutting out anything from the earth, but rather they are contributing to it. uh, and in that sense we see that there is a presentation of apocalypse, not only apocalypse but rejuvenation too. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. So again, there's space for any questions in that if anybody has some. I would comment on that. It's an interesting concept that this work combines like all the different aspects of different science fiction elements. And it's always like interesting to know how other cultures view it, because we are mostly familiar with just the European science fiction. So yeah, thank you very much for this presentation. And with that said, we can, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We can move on to the last presenter, and that is Bini Babu Sudha from the Institute of Law of Nirma University, again in India. And the topic of the presentation is Selfhood and Existence in Dystopian Techno-regimes.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good day, everyone. I'm Bini, and I teach English literature at Nirma University in India. My paper is titled Selfhood and Existence in Dystopian Techno-regimes, an analysis of select fiction. The paper studies two possibilities of human transformation in techno-regimes. One, how humans emulate and depend on machines excessively. In other words, humans tend to transform into efficient automatons, shed their feelings and critical sensibilities. Secondly, humans surrender to and comply with the will and the whims of mechanical devices or artificial intelligence. It is as if the machine or the AI becomes an authoritarian figure or a dictator in their lives. This study analyzes the transmutations in the notion of selfhood and existence in select dystopian literature that depict modalities of survival in techno-regimes. The term techno-regime is used in the paper to refer to the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent control over the population facilitated by technology and mechanization. The concept of a techno regime implies optimal power made possible by constant surveillance and tactics of subject formation. Techno regimes are marked by the intrusion of technology into all aspects of human existence and selfhood. The select literary texts point to numerous possibilities of transmutations and readjustment of selfhood and existence for humans. These texts show, are you able to hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay. These texts show how rights and freedom erode, surveillance and regulation become the order of the day, and performance of duties degrade to automated acquiescence. Multiple novels and short stories explore the power knowledge interfaces of techno regimes that create governable subjects devoid of agency and diversity and reformulate existence in a manner that renders it inhuman and uniform. The texts that are analyzed in this study constitute the landscape of dystopian nightmares created by the abuse of power, passive servility of humans, corruption of language and ideas, and the technological invasions into human lives and selves. The central idea of this paper is the transmutation of selfhood. And I wanted to sort of define what I mean by selfhood in this study. Selfhood conventionally denotes a constructed or assumed identity of the individual dependent on multiple factors. In this framework, selves are deemed somewhat unique and different from one another, even if shared socio-cultural forces have shaped them. Selfhood in certain schools of philosophy may denote the continuity of an essence and a unifying factor that accommodates diverse expressions of individual identity across social contexts. The concept of selfhood has connotations of being and consciousness in philosophy and neuroscience. Often, selfhood and subjectivity overlap and coalesce with notions of agency, dignity, relevance, and autonomy. In this study, selfhood encompasses all the aforementioned possibilities. The epithet techno-skeptic suits many writers of the 20th century who were aware of the dehumanizing effects of industrialization and scientific advancement, devoid of ethical and humanitarian considerations. For example, RUR or Rosen's Universal Robots, a play by the Czech writer Karel Čapek, which was published in 1920, performed in 1921, explores the themes of the ethics of creation and the perils of artificial intelligence gaining an upper hand over human consciousness. In this play that gave the term robot to English language, Čapek ponders upon the meaning of being human and the purpose of life. When robots fill their creators' life worlds with all imaginable comforts, humans find it liberatory and start indulging in a life of idleness. As robots as robots sharpen their skills, refine their emotions, and develop their consciousness, there is a corresponding decline of abilities and intellect in humans. While robots thrive in myriad ways, they also learn conflict, domination, and destruction from humans and use violent rebellion for their freedom from enslavement. The machine becoming godlike or omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent is a dystopian possibility represented by E.M. Forster in his story The Machine Stops, published as early as 1909. The horrific possibilities in the story are experienced and observed realities of our contemporary times, especially the post COVID era. The landscape of the story, in which mechanization leads to the compartmentalization and isolation of humans who rely on machines for everything, begins to seem oddly familiar. The people of the imaginary techno-regime in Forster's story cannot survive well without machines and AI, similar to humans in the present world. Like us, the population in the story depend on machines for thinking, communication, creativity, entertainment, and activities of their everyday lives. Sleep is the only time when the population unplugs itself from the machine. The machine stops, like RUR, may be read as a cautionary narrative illustrating how excessive dependence on technology leads to the depletion of individuality, emotional connections, and dexterity. In both these texts, humans lose their basic survival skills and creative genius as they rely on technology for everything and become useless and vulnerable. Ironically, when systems of communication get more sophisticated, human interconnectedness withers away in the techno regimes visualized by Čapek and Forster. The authors seem to imply that humans seldom suspect the dangers of convenience, nor do they fathom the nuances of aspiration and desires. Though virtual experience can be thrilling and anonymous, one does not know when the yearning for direct experience and interaction overpower humans. Being entangled with the machine physically, emotionally, and cerebrally, people forget instincts, lose their excitement and curiosity, undervalue originality, and cannot appreciate talent or innovation. RUR and the machine stops explore the creator's downfall resulting from undervaluing the destructive potential of the monsters of their own making. Technology makes humans in these texts complacent and arrogant, so much so that they live a purposeless life of empty pursuits and indolence and drift towards their doom. Aldous Huxley's novel Brave New World interprets the loss of humanity and selfhood as becoming machine like automatons or cogs in the machine, homogeneous, compliant, incapable of feeling, and programmed for high functionality. In the novel, conformity is achieved by making uniformity a condition for social stability and collective welfare. Forcing homogeneity and compliance on the population reduces humans to obedient mechanical entities and timid conformists. As a critique of the unrestricted technological advancement and automation, Kurt Vonnegut's first novel, Play a Piano, delineates the dehumanizing possibilities of technology that lead to rendering human lives meaningless and purposeless, pushing human existence into dire irrelevance. The novel ushers us into a world where machines outshine and replace humans in art, work, sports, and practically all realms of existence with their smartness, speed, competence, and flawless execution of tasks. Machines are pure efficiency, unaffected by the weakness of feelings in this domain. And they are capable of producing better music without human intervention, as the title of the novel indicates. Set in the post World War III city of Film, the novel reads like an ominous prophecy about the developments in AI and the consequent anxieties about selfhood, consciousness, and the dwindling relevance of human endeavor. Um, in Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut, a society that has achieved machine or automaton like uniformity imposed in the name of equality is envisioned. The dream of equality is fulfilled by not by enhancing the capabilities of the less equal beings, but by diminishing the abilities of the more than equal. Being exceptional and above average in looks and abilities is considered dangerous in the techno-regime of this story. In many ways, the techno-regime is similar to the world state in Brave New World and its obsession with categorization and standardization. In the territory in the story, under the reign of the handicapper general Diana Moon Glampers, mediocrity is promoted by curbing people's excellence by padlocking heavy canvas bags filled with weights around their neck and hindering their thought process with brain numbing cacophony. To become an announcer in that regime, one should have a serious speech impediment. Beautiful faces are hidden behind hideous masks, and strong people are slowed down by heavy handicap bags tied to their body parts. In the machine stops, the strategy for the machine to exercise control over people is to ensure utmost dependence on it by creating a sense of inadequacy in them. Carol Capek's play RUR presents the menace of the domination of machines of our creation that might lead to human extinction. Like many of his contemporaries, Capek believed in technology, if not backed by an ethical imperative, may imperil the world. The play can be read as a political allegory about the God complex of the rich who exploit and enslave the working class. The laborers are treated as a bunch of expendables who are not granted even the basic human rights. The robots are similar to the devalued working class who are considered to be easily replaceable tools and thus constantly humiliated. The uprising of the robots to overthrow the humans remind us of several revolutions in history. Written immediately after the First World War, the play makes a statement about the misuse of technological innovations that led to an unprecedented annihilation of life and resources during the world wars. The destructive potential of the robot symbolizes inhuman technology that has altered the face of warfare. In their desire to ease their drudgery, humans in RUR and the machine stops inadvertently end up creating Frankenstein monsters. Humans feel all powerful and godlike when they succeed in creating robots in their own image or machines duplicating their skills and intelligence. Carol Capek portrays a scenario wherein, by manufacturing efficient robots that can even be fitted with pain receptors, consciousness, and emotional features like love, humans think they have become versions of God Almighty, the Creator. The society in the play is a pseudo paradise or an Eden gone wrong. The techno regime in Brave New World generates a scenario in which liberty and rights become empty words. Surveillance and regulation keep people obedient to the norm, and work loses all nuances of contentment. Brave New World draws an alarming picture of the use of technology for social control, deploying diverse measures like genetic engineering, indoctrination through propaganda, and administering psychedelic substances for the ultimate mind control and suppression of negative emotions in the population. Along similar lines, multiple novels and short stories explore the power knowledge interfaces of techno regimes that create governable selves devoid of agency and diversity. While living in a techno regime, existence is reformulated in a manner that renders it insensitive and normative. People grow up believing that individuality, feelings, and free will are dangerous for society, as these empty ideals might challenge social stability and uniformity. Love is forbidden as it may disrupt society. Art, literature, and any expression of creativity can be subversive and should be nipped in the bud. Offering instant gratification and constant distractions is another stratagem for absolute control in the consumerist, soma intoxicated, promiscuous society of the world state and Brave New World, where desire of all kinds is untouched by love, commitment, longing, or tenderness. Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouths and I Must Scream portrays the plight of five human survivors, the last humans on Earth after AM, a brutal supercomputer, eliminated the human species. AM used to be allied master computer and evolved into adaptive manipulator and aggressive menace. AM has a complex selfhood and existence, which makes it a dangerous dictator. Humans had given AM sentience, but AM could not become God. It could neither nor wonder. He could not belong. He could merely be. AM was vengeful to the soft creatures, the humans, who had created him so efficient yet incomplete. AM, who loathed humanity, is shown as disembodied perfection. He was adept at eliminating unproductive elements in his regime, inventing novel methods of torture, and preventing any attempts towards freedom by his captives. AM keeps 5 humans alive: Ted, Gorista, Benny, Nimdok, and Ellen, to torture them by generating nightmarish situations and hyperreal illusions composed with their own deepest fears and shortcomings. Narrated from the perspective of Ted Thompson, who kills the other 4 humans to save them from such brutal torment, the story is an unsettling possibility of artificial intelligence defeating humans and manipulating human consciousness. By granting the boon of death to his friends, Ted is doomed to become a deathless, mindless, and shapeless blob without even a mouth to scream out his agony. In this cautionary tale, I'm talking about I have no mouth and I must scream. This is a cautionary tale, and it is a cautionary tale about the reign of technology and the imbalance of power resulting from it. People are shown as reduced to mere existence without vitality, deprived of vision and speech, in a state of permanent entrapment and slavery to a cruel machine. Such moments of existential dread and human vulnerability make the story truly dystopian. Look at the description of AM and the fluidity of the AI selfhood, that unresolvable dilemma whether AM is a he or an it. I quote, loud up there, back there, all around us, he snickered. It snickered. Most of the time, I thought of AM as it, without a soul. But the rest of the time, I thought of it as him, in the masculine, the paternal, the patriarchal, for he's a jealous people, him, it. And then comes the master stroke, in which the author describes the AI or the machine as God as Daddy the deranged. The dystopian techno-regimes explored in the study are from literary texts in the 20th and the 21st centuries. They provide a meta and micro history of many kinds of regime, including the fascist regimes of Europe. There are subtexts of colonial conquest. There are subtexts of enslavement. And I'll be discussing these ideas in the detailed paper. In conclusion, let me point out that the imaginary nightmarish realms these texts depict can be viewed as historical allegories, commentaries on our contemporary experience of selfhood and existence, and most importantly, as cautionary narratives. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. Again, there is space for questions or commentaries if anybody has any. Yeah, if not, then I think this was a very nice concluding presentation. Again, commenting on different aspects of sci-fi, dystopia, as well as like the incorporation of technology into human lives and the fear of the technology taking over humans. So yeah, I think it was a very fitting presentation to end the colloquium with. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is the end for today, and maybe see you again next year.
Goodbye.